Hi, guys. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. You
Yeah,
are my returning champion. I think we have been on each other's podcast. Like,
I've
when
been
was
on
this?
yours a couple times, but I don't really actually have you on mine, so I need to get you on mine.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding
yeah,
me?
right.
No
Yeah, you've been ducking and
way. I would
dodging.
have sworn.
No, you've been ducking and dodging. I got to get you on. So no,
Oh,
we
yeah.
shared a video one time, but I actually haven't had you on mine. I don't believe you. I've done yours like
Oh.
two times.
Oh, we totally have to remedy that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get you
Totally.
scheduled. So we'll get you scheduled by the end of the month.
Yeah, I am so sorry about that. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
just
so offended.
shoot me a link or tell me some available times and we'll make it happen, man.
Definitely.
All right. So, guys, if you've been following my show or if you've seen Todd before, Todd has his own podcast. He is a Subto community member. He is a real estate investor and also a podcaster. I think you have, what do you have? 31, 32 episodes so far?
Yes, did 33 this morning.
Ah,
So I'll be posting another one. It's another second interview with Tasheen Collins. We'll be posting that either tonight or tomorrow.
nice. Can't wait. Okay. And you also have them on audio channels besides YouTube, right?
Just well, it's on Spotify, Apple. Don't go there. I haven't kept up with it.
Oh,
I think
okay.
there's only a few episodes. I mean, maybe 5 or 6. I haven't kept up with Apple. It just takes longer to upload just audio for some reason. And
Why
I
don't you do
don't
the
know.
Buzzsprout?
That's what I
I'll
was
send
going
it
to do.
out to like 15 of them all at once.
That's what I'm planning on doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea now. I'm gonna look into that Monday. Actually, was gonna start looking into that Monday and gonna switch over, maybe cancel the Apple. So because with Buzzsprout, it automatically puts it in Apple anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it'll send it. There's like a 12 to 15. Last time I checked, anyway. I
yeah,
kind of lost a little bit of traction and time with the whole packing up a house that I lived in for 12 years and moving halfway across the country and then getting here, getting set up and then getting on the road to go to Squat Up Summit,
yeah. You
travel
had some
time and everything.
big things happening right there in a short period of time.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, what an
So,
adventure.
so how are you settling in? How's it going?
Good, good.
Yeah.
I have done since I got set up, I have done 2 podcast episodes, one of them what 2 more. So I was up to 16 episodes
Okay.
and I had to tip before I had to take that pause. So I did 17 last week, I did 18 on Wednesday, you're 19 and I have 3 more scheduled.
Yeah, I got a couple scheduled, so I got to get those. I'm gonna have to get you scheduled. I want to try and get Effie. I met Effie last weekend. I did a private money lending mastermind here with
Oh,
Abraham Gray,
nice.
Alexis Morgan. Effie was there, whole bunch of people. So it was very interesting.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Here's the thing about Squad Up though. There were so many people that I wanted to connect with or thought I would be able to meet that I just didn't see and
Oh, really?
missed. Everybody has that story. I mean, normally when you go to a business type event like that, it's usually like 9 to 5 and then you go have dinner and hang out with your friends and it's okay. I should have known better. You know pace.
Yeah. Well, Pace is pretty much going with 24/7. I
Oh
don't
my
see how he does.
gosh. He's like 2 people in one. It's like we
Yeah,
were
he's
like
got
8 o'clock in the morning, and before that, there was breakfast and everything else. 8 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. All through night. It was crazy.
That's crazy. I want to do it next year. They say it's going to be what in Nashville, so I definitely want to go next year.
It was wild. Did you sign up for the virtual one?
Mm-mm.
Did you see like
Mm-mm.
emails for that? Okay, so there's
No.
like a virtual. It's like for everybody who missed Squad Up, there's like a virtual event. I'm not sure if it's this weekend or not. I would check your email. Check
Okay.
your email. And I think it's only a couple $100. What it might be, I'm guessing on this, I'm not sure, but it might be the recording because they had like TV, they had like a camera crew, they had like this big arm coming through the audience and stuff with a camera on it and everything. So they were recording it, and then the VIP people um get recordings of the whole entire
The
event.
whole event. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that that's what you're going to be seeing. And then if you do VIP for the virtual event, it will actually be Pace and Jamil will be answering your questions. Now, I didn't get the VIP when I went to Squad Up because I knew like a few of my friends that I was going to be hanging out with, and I'm like, I really want to hang out with you guys. Like I'll get to see people like, at the event. The VIP was really like they did lunch together and sometimes they did dinner together or something like that. And they got to
Mhm.
meet, eat together and hang out, and they had, extra stuff going on. But basically, outside of the event, everybody was all together. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to be separated from them. So, but what I didn't realize is it was actually the opposite. Like I did have a couple people I was hanging around, but I really wouldn't have missed out on them too much because I would have been going to lunch with the VIP people and then meeting back up with them and sitting with them again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there were a lot of the people that I missed were in the VIP lunch I would have met there.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to go back next year. We'll have to go back and do the
Yeah,
VIP.
definitely. I mean, it was the first time. It was their first event too. So
That's so cool. I sad I missed it, but I'm planning on going to the next one. Definitely planning
it
on.
was like family night with Pace, Zoom, but in
Mhm.
person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, we had Grant Cardone there. We had Cody Sanchez. We had what is that guy? The guy that came on first, Bill something. Oh, big guy, and I always forget his name because I hadn't heard of him before. But he was there. They had a lot of, Jerry Norton. They had
Mhm.
a lot of really cool stuff. They had the plant guy there. He sat on stage with
The plant
Hey,
guy. What are you talking about?
the plant guy.
You
Oh
talking about the guy that's always dressed up as a plant scaring people?
no, dude. Do you know are you joking or do you not know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I can't say I know who you're talking about.
Oh God, I can't wait until you let your W-2 go.
Why?
Because
Yeah, on a
this
daily
kind of
diet
stuff you
or
would
what?
know. I know you're a dad, you're a single dad, and you got your W-2 and you got, your podcast and all and the team that you're working on and everything else. But it's like I feel like you miss a lot. You know
I
what I
do.
mean?
I do. I feel the same,
Yeah.
but it's just the way it goes because it's like I'm calling. I gotta be doing stuff right now. Maybe I'll be able to slow down in a year or two, but right now I'm just gonna keep going. So
Yeah. You can't let it go until it doesn't make any sense to have your W-2 anymore.
right,
Right.
it's
So
it's a pain, but it's needed right now. So yeah.
yeah, I gotcha.
But I'm not worried if I get fired or anything. So I got to do the podcast with Pace
Don't
and
tell me that. I'll call your boss. I'm just kidding.
podcast yeah, and on the 14th, and then I might have to take my mom to the doctor, and then I left early Friday, so just because my coworkers decided to come in late Friday, so I was like, okay, you guys come in late, I'm gonna leave early.
Right,
They don't
right.
ever say anything, so I'm waiting for them to say something because I'm gonna say, you know what, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Come in when I feel like it. I do everything I need to do. I get everything done I need to. I'm still quoting stuff. I'm still making sales, though I'm not pushing sales, but still making
Yeah.
it. It still just comes. So I'm
So, I'll try to give you a real quick version.
okay.
The plant guy,
Plant guy.
remember, I don't know if you were able to attend this or not. Remember when Pay said he was going to do a Zoom and talk about this business that he bought, but everybody would have to sign a non-disclosure agreement?
Yeah, I
Be
remember that. I remember him saying something.
Okay. The business that he bought was the plant guy.
The
That was
plant
him.
guy. Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you might have remembered he actually didn't have to have anybody sign an NDA because the plant guy was like, I don't care. Tell my story to the public. Please use my story to inspire others. And we never had to sign that NDA because the plant guy was perfectly fine telling his story and Pace telling his story. He's like, go ahead, do it, you know. And so he had the plant guy on stage at Squad Up. Um, so basically, long story short,
I got his webpage up. He's got a plantguy.com. The
yeah,
plant guy.
okay, you go by Chick-fil-A, right? And you see that cow that's the bush that's in the shape of a cow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plant guy.
All right.
He had given a present, either Pace bought it or whatever. He had a big alligator shaped plant on stage at one point.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was a gift or if Pace bought it or what, but I think it was a gift.
Huh.
Um, yeah. So he came in. This guy was super. He had a revenue of like, I don't know, $8 million a year or something like that. But I'm trying to make a long story short here. He was doing really, really well, and you would never know it. None of his employees knew it except his assistant, but he was bleeding and losing like, like 147,000 a month or something like that because number 1, he was the visionary. He knew how to do his thing that was doing really well, but he didn't know how to do the books. He didn't know how to do the whole business end of things. He just didn't. And he had gotten to a what do you want to call it? He got into a really bad trap or cycle of getting like those payday loans, but like for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was taking loans to pay for the loan and then have to get another loan for payday and then taking the, you know what I mean? And he was just like upside down.
Oh
And
wow.
by the time Pace had come in and said, look, proposed, partnering with him on his business, he said, you can remain the face of the company. You can continue to run the business. I'll come in and catch everything up. We'll straighten out your books and we'll, be partners in the business. So Cody, and so he was telling us this story at Squad Up. He said, Cody, my CFO, came in and was like, okay, we're going to go over all the books and everything. We're going to fix everything and blah, blah, blah. And then the plant guy says to Pace, look, I need 20,000 for payroll this Friday. Like, I don't have it. He said it got so bad to the point where he would take money for a new job to pay for the loan and then get another loan for the payday. And he just couldn't get out of this cycled trap that he was in.
Wow.
Right. So when Pace came in, he's like, look, I need help. Like, I don't have it. And I need 20 grand for payday this Friday. And he's like, okay. So he called, Cody, the CFO, and he's like, and then he said on stage, everybody was laughing. He's like, we call him the CF No. He said, look, we like this business. We like this plan, but it's going to take us a few months to go through these books. We can't, give him 20 grand to make payroll this Friday. So then Pace goes, this is sometimes you'll get to a point in your business where you'll be able to do things like this, but you have to wait till you're there. He said, so I called up Molly and I said, Molly, I need you to write a check for $20,000 to this young man. She's like, do I need to ask why? He's like, no. She's like, okay. Writes him a check, saved him. Now, when Pace came in to partner with him, he's like, you know what? If you didn't come in and partner with me on this and help me save my business, I was 2 weeks away from going down to the store, buying a gun and killing myself.
Hmm.
And everybody was just like, and my immediate thought was, oh my gosh, if he would have waited 2 more weeks and just said, oh, I'll reach out to him in a little bit. Oh, I'm really busy. I'll reach out to him then. Oh, I'm a little bit busy. I'll reach out to him then. This guy would have been dead and this business would have been lost. I mean,
Hmm.
that's how desperate and in a bad way he was. So anyway,
Huh.
he had this guy as a guest. He has a podcast on his channel, on Pace's channel, where he interviewed him and tells this whole story, probably a lot better than I just did, because Pace is a great storyteller.
Right.
But look for that interview that he did with him on his channel, and he tells the whole story there, more in depth. But yeah, so I feel like, I mean, it was so electric. They had all these high guests. They had Grant Cardone, they had Cody Sanchez, they had Jerry Norton, they had this Bill guy. I can't remember his name to save my life. Oh, they. But anyway, and we were told that Grant Cardone, for example, this was the story that they were getting from all their guest speakers. These guest speakers usually charge an insane amount of money to make a guest appearance and speak for like 45 minutes or whatever.
Right.
And they were getting this feedback from all the guest speakers that, oh my gosh, I have never, this is what they were saying to Pace, I have never been a speaker anywhere and felt the electricity and the positive energy and the vibes from your audience. Like, it was just insane. Like, so anyway, Grant Cardone charges like 6 figures. I'm not going to say it on here because I don't know if that's privy. We're privy to that.
He does. No, I
Publicly.
asked him to get on my interview, and he sent his publicist sent me a thing. This is what he charges for
Oh
training.
yeah, well that's nothing
Right.
compared to speaking in person. Anybody usually, of course, Pace got a discount because he was already friends with him already. They've already done things together, but still, and usually when you want Grant Cardone to speak at a seminar or whatever that you're having, you're going to pay 6 figures plus his jet fuel.
Yeah. I heard
So
about
he told
that. Yeah,
Pace,
you got to pay for
he
his
told
gas.
Pace, I will come back for free next time. Like, I have never felt the energy and the electricity from any group ever. Usually at business, somebody's like, everybody's all like hugging and talking and laughing and collaborating and cheering. And, it was just like, of course, I haven't been to a lot of business seminars at all, but maybe
Right.
one or two, but it's been a while. But yeah. I mean, it's like the chat, you know how you see it in the chat in the Zoom? Imagine that in person.
Oh, wow.
It was. That was the most, I mean, it was great information. There were great activities and this and that. But dude, it was Subto. It was our community and all the love and the support and the camaraderie. That's what was so stellar about Squad Up.
Right. So who all did you get to meet in person?
Jerry Norton, Jamil Damji, Pace, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm having a gentleman on next week, June 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a story. Maybe I think I might want to save it. How we met at Squad Up. I think I might want to save it for his episode.
Save it for your podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. That right there would just showed you exactly what our community is about, how him and I met. So yeah, that's on the 6th, 3:30 our time, June 6th. Yeah, but I met so many people. Oh my gosh, I can't even think about it right now.
There was a lot of people there. There was a whole lot of people there. I couldn't believe it.
Two of the girls that I was hanging around, I was really good friends with already, but I had never met in person. I don't think I've ever in my life felt that close to a couple of girlfriends of mine without meeting them in person.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so weird that I didn't even realize, it didn't click. Hey, you've never met these girls in person, because we were so close already. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. I never met them in person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I feel super close to you. When I meet you in person, it's going to feel weird. Like,
yeah.
Like, wait, we're just meeting for the first time in person. It's like, it's hard to comprehend.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was your most memorable, would you say your most memorable experience during the Squad Up was? Does any stick out? Like, oh wow, this is
Do I have to pick one?
just one. Yes.
A story that Pace told. So I probably should have heard it before, but I hadn't. And the story just blew me away of how Pace got Molly as an assistant. The story of how him and Molly connected.
Hmm.
He was telling us this, and I'm sitting next to Andriana, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you, who doesn't know the story about how Molly and I met, because he was getting ready to bring Molly on stage. And he's like, who hasn't heard the story? And I'm like, me. She's like, you never heard that story? I'm like, no, I know, right? And I'm so connected. I so know everything that's going on in the community. It's so weird. But yeah, I hadn't heard it before, and oh, it hit right there.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard the whole story. I heard parts of it, and I've heard parts of Pace's story. Like I was listening to the podcast or his podcast. I listened to it in my car now, and he was telling someone else was interviewing Pace. I don't know who the guy was, and Pace was giving his whole story. So it's like, wow, I haven't heard that part, or him go that deep into it before. So, and that's what I was going to want to do on mine. So it's like, oh man, he's going to be rehashing everything, but I think he'll be all right with it.
There were really phenomenal things. And then I'll tell you what, though, he was talking about the vision that he had for his community and the different phases. He didn't go past, he was launching a new phase of Subto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the easiest way to explain it. He was building everything up, and he started from the beginning and took us on the journey with what do you want to call it? Like a board with its
Like a whiteboard story or what?
yeah, kind of. Yeah. So he was taking us on the journey from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He also had the girl there that inspired him to start the Sub2 community.
Oh, really?
The lady. Yes, he had her there and pulled her up on
The
stage.
bunnies lady?
Yeah, so when you go on my channel, the little trailer that you see when you first go on my channel, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see that part in there, and in the caption over top of it says the woman who inspired Pace to create the community or whatever.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, he has a lot of phases already mapped out in his head, and he's already added to it. But he's not even halfway through, not even close.
Hmm.
So he brought us through the journey, you know what I mean? Like the starting the community and the different things that he's added one by one by one by one. And he just launched a new phase of his community, called, it's kind of replacing, or mastermind kind of is the reason he's not having anymore is because there's nowhere else for it to go. Like it can't grow or evolve anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a new thing now called Owners Club.
Yeah, that's what they've all been talking about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, Ariaga, and then some other people here in Subto. When I was at that private money mastermind, they were talking about the Owners Club.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's not for everybody. He said that a few times while he was talking about it. He's like, this is not for everybody. It may be for you, it may not be for you.
Right.
You don't
Well,
want to sign up just because you have FOMO. You want to.
Right. Not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody's meant to be rich. There's got to be poor people or there wouldn't be rich people.
Yeah. I don't think you should focus on the money, though. I think you got to focus on the thing that you're doing, and the money will follow.
That's what I believe too. And that's when you talk to more and more people, it's like, hey, they weren't focused really on the money and things. They were focused on building their business and their why. So when talking with Justin, I interviewed Justin last week, the weekend before last. And his thing too is like, hey, when you talk to Pace, because I was telling him how, man, I'll love getting to have a good conversation with Pace because I want to get in front of him and have him read me because he's a great person reader. And he was like, yeah, you need to, but he's like, the thing is everybody wants Pace to do that, and so you got to be aware of that. And then And in order for him to do, you really got to be in touch and really be on your why. And I
Yes.
was like, okay, so and my why, and the only reason I mean, it's like it's not mine isn't about being rich. It's just being about being able to care for my son, and not have, like this next year I'm worried. With a W-2, he's starting band, and I want to be a part of his life and not just watch it from the sideline. So it's like
He's starting what?
band. So he's going into junior high starting band. So it's like I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna start finding him, how to get him rides to extra events and doing.
Dude, listen, I'm gonna tell you, speaking from an empty nester, okay? Start trying to take baby steps in letting go a little bit because if I see you feeling the way that I felt, and I think this is a lot of parent stories. As they start to get older, we start to realize, oh my gosh, I don't have a lot of time left. Oh my gosh, I don't have a lot of time with them. We try to get more involved and closer when actually what they're doing is getting further and further apart. So if keep trying to get even closer and they're pulling away with more independence,
He's
then you
not
get
pulling
to a
away.
point.
The thing
Well,
is
not
I'm making
yet, but
single parent, and it's like
like
I'm
even
trying
the
to
girls.
I'm trying to just make sure he's gonna have rides and that he's gonna, there's gonna be he's going to be able to do the things he wants in school because someone can help him get there and take him to do that. Now his brother is very involved in band, but he's got
Mhm.
his aunt that will take him to all the events and wakes him up 5 in the morning, does all this stuff, and he has rides everywhere. So I'm just worried that Caden, because I'm his only ride. I'm the only one here in the
Mhm.
mornings. I'm the only one to do it. There's nobody really to help too much in that area. So I want to be able to be there. And yeah, I want to be able to be there for his events too, but I'll have to be like the soccer mom driving him everywhere and all that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to do it, but then it's like I got to be available to do it because with my job right now I won't be. I'll always be missing things. And I've
Yeah,
been
you don't want to be the cats in the cradle. I don't know if you can hear all that thunder behind me. Can you hear that?
No, we had it here this morning, so you're probably getting it. We had a lot of
Dude,
storm.
ever since I moved here,
Oh yeah, they've been coming in all
stellar
week.
thunderstorms. I mean, having thunder in Baltimore, Maryland was a rarity.
Oh really?
Yeah, and
We'll
when it
get
was
used to
super
it.
loud, that was even more rare. I could probably count on
Mhm.
one hand how many times I heard super loud thunder, right?
Now you're
Since
hearing it.
I got to Louisiana,
You've been shitting in your shorts
we're
or what?
talking once a week, okay? Now, this is a funny story. I'm sitting here, the first time we heard this really loud thunder, boom, 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 boom. Me and my cat looked at each other and I'm like, come here, baby. Mommy's scared too. Come here, let me hold you. Let me hold you. We were just like,
Oh yeah.
and then my
Cat's
first
like, where the hell
thought
did you
was,
bring me?
what?
The cat's
What
like,
was
where the hell did you bring me?
yeah. And she's like, first you put me in a car in a truck cab for 2.5 days, and now we're here with all this thunder and everything.
Well,
And
you'll,
my first thought was, I wonder if that's where that band Crack the Sky got their name.
hmm.
Because it literally sounded like the sky was cracking
Oh
and
yeah.
gonna like break and fall on top of us.
Oh, it's loud. It's we get some good storms. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're only 5 hour drive away from me now.
Where are you at?
I
Shreveport?
mean, 4 hours. Austin is
4 hours.
5, yeah. I'm in Shreveport.
Austin is 5 hours away.
Yes.
Okay.
But Austin, so looking on the map, I'm like here, coming down here is Houston, coming down there is Austin.
Hmm.
And I'm going to the Tyler, Texas, which is like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes this way
When is
on
that?
the 5th.
The 5th? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that too soon, too quick.
Yeah. It's a 6 p.m. meetup though.
Yeah.
But
But I
that's
don't I don't
still
have vacation yet. I still got to work out my vacation because every year or two in the summertime I take a vacation with my boys, but I don't know if I'm doing it this year. We usually go to Colorado. I go to Model, Colorado, and hang out in the middle of nowhere at my buddy's place.
is that a good place to have an RV park?
I would think so. I think it's a good place. He needs a gas station out there because he's not quite halfway between La Junta and Trinidad. He's like in between Trinidad and La Junta. So, and there's no gas stations on that route, on his route. So it's like, man, you should put a gas station. He does. I gave him a business plan to do it too, and he has thought about doing a propane. business there. I was like, well, you should.
Mhm.
There's nobody, and he told me there's nobody around. Nearest one is in Trinidad, 30 miles away. And I was like, well, you should. You have, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He's not. I'll say this. And if he ever hears it, he might be mad at me and have his feelings hurt, but he'll get over it, I guess. But he is not an action taker.
Who? Who is this?
It's my buddy there in Colorado.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's not.
I
I
thought
wouldn't say
you
he's much of an action taker. I mean, he might have been at one point, but now he's not. He hangs out there in uh I don't know. He's the one of my only friends I have left because I've ditched pretty much all old acquaintances and I've let them go. They're just not people I want in my life anymore. They're not positive influences, and it's like if you're not positive influence and bringing value, then it's time to move on. And I've made
right. Or if they're holding you back and
yeah, I did that. I did that years ago, and I've been a hermit, pretty much just working and
mhm,
taking care of my family and working the last
mhm,
5 6 years, I guess. So it's like I don't really go out much. I don't do shit. So it's just
right.
family work and doing that. So and then getting into this, it's like it's really confirmed I made the right decision letting go of a lot of people and not hanging out with them anymore because they were constantly a stress. Let's put it that way.
So my podcast last Wednesday was a young lady named McKenna that I met recently.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually starting another podcast. And she's saying the same thing that you said, the same thing that a lot of Subto community members have is that she said, most of my friends are in the Subto community. Like we just all, we were talking about the your vibe attracts your tribe
Mm,
thing.
yeah.
And she's like, I don't even think I hang around anybody really outside of sub two anymore. That's like all sub two people.
No, I don't. I haven't in a while though, and coming into sub two like gave me kind of a social life again. They have events to go to, and and
Mhm,
I've loved them. I love going to the events. I love going to Power Hour because it's positive people, good people to be around. They're doing positive
mhm.
things in their own life, so it's just good. And you leave there feeling good. You
Yeah.
leave these when you after you hang out with them, you leave feeling good. And with my friends, I never had that. It's not something
Yeah.
I really noticed that. It's like, when I hung out with my friends, I never had those kind of feelings like, "Oh, wow, this was a great night. It was a
Well,
great."
I did, but there was alcohol involved, but I'm a little too old for that now.
Yeah, well, see, that was the feeling though back in the day was more it wasn't feelings, it was alcohol. And
Pace
that
was on
alcohol
stage
never
at one point. He was like, "Sorry, guys, this isn't much of a podcast because Todd and I are such good friends that it's just like a friends talking type thing."
well, that's getting to
But
know people.
I think Pace was like on stage one. Was that Squat Up or what? He was saying, "I have a Diet Coke, which is like Mormon alcohol."
Right? Well, yeah, that
'Cause
stuff.
you're not supposed to have caffeine or something, and that's like the worst thing he could possibly drink, you know?
So he is a Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured he was one.
Yeah, but you know what though? He's the coolest Mormon I ever met. And
Mormons
I
are
grew up in that religion, so that's what allowed me to understand him and trust him and connect with him and get him immediately. Like
Mormons
when
are
I
driven. They're driven people,
yes,
but it's
and
instilled.
they're always sober.
Yeah, but they I don't know why it's amazing. The Mormons, all the Mormons I've met, they're very driven people and they're very focused on what they're it's they don't have these distractions that everybody else does. And it's like
And
with
they're community oriented.
there you go,
Does
community.
that make sense now?
Mhm.
Does pace make a lot of sense to you now?
Yeah.
You literally could say, "Hey guys, I gotta move." And Saturday, 5 burly guys, sober, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with a big smile on their face, not expecting anything in return, will be there to help you move.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's for real. It's not an exaggeration.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, no religion is perfect, but there is a lot of good in that religion. A lot.
I don't knock
It
not
depends on what each individual person does with it. I think it has a lot of good ideas. I don't agree with everything. That's why I'm not as an adult.
I don't know
But
enough about Mormon to say shit about it. I know I don't know, they're not are they considered Christians? Do they
Yeah,
believe in
yeah,
Christ?
they're
So
Christians.
I don't give a shit.
Well,
As long
Mormon
as
is
they
the
believe in Christ,
nickname. The real title of the church is Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
Latter-day
Saints.
Saints, yeah.
I don't think and all I know about the religion is from a child's point of view, like what you're taught growing up.
Mhm.
So, like, until I was a teenager, really, I only know what we're taught. It's a very like they teach you like really good more. They really live by what they
Right.
believe for the
So they're
most part. Nobody's perfect,
I always looked at the
but
Mormons like the Amish.
they strive to live by what they believe, and they're very positive in general. I mean, there's always, different kinds of people, but they're positive, they're honest, they're kind, they're community oriented, they want to help each other, but all the things that Pace is.
Yeah.
If you want to know,
They're instilled. They're brought up. It's instilled from very young in their community,
mhm,
and like that's what you said. The community. It's the same with the Amish. The Amish are the same
mhm,
way,
mhm,
the same exact way. Good
yeah,
work ethic, good values. They value community, and the thing is when you have that, it carries over, and you always have to worry about. You still think about and keep yourself in check because your community is important.
mhm, mhm.
So yeah, it's
That's
understandable.
what allowed me to understand and trust and really get Pace from the very beginning. I was like, oh, I get this guy. All
I
right,
can't
I'm
say I
in.
trusted and believed him. I was like, wow, he is a smooth talking con man. That's what when I first thought,
But
that
not,
guy is
yeah.
smooth, and he's gonna go far. And then, but because I
Here
thought,
was another big clue. You ready?
mhm.
Here was another big clue for me. As soon as I found out he was an Eagle Scout, that just sealed it for me. I'm like, oh my, you know how hard it is
To be
to
an Eagle Scout,
be
yeah, not
an
too many do it. Yeah,
Eagle. Holy Mary, Eagle Scout. I was like a Mormon, an Eagle Scout. I got this guy. Yeah, I'm down for this. I'm in. You know.
right. No, he did.
Plus, I was a realtor, so I'm like, this is
Mhm.
where I belong.
So do you have your license?
I was licensed in the state of Maryland.
All right. So what do you got to do to get your license down here in Texas and
I would
Louisiana?
have to do the Louisiana state
You just got a test or what?
curriculum and test. I don't want to do it, to be
No,
honest.
you don't want to be a
No.
unicorn, make all the money.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. We're changing the landscape of real estate. Why would I want to pay all that money and spend all that time to get into that? This is one reason. There's
True,
lots of
we
reasons.
are changing the landscape of it, but
Yeah.
we're gonna be in.
Another reason is there was a why would I want to help other people buy and sell when I can buy and sell and help people and get real estate for myself at the same time doing this?
Yeah.
Right. And another reason is I came across a lot of shady, nose stuck up in the air type people. I can't stand that. Could never stand that my entire life. Not even as a child, I couldn't stand those kind of people. And I mean, you just got these persnickety, not all of them,
What do you call it?
but at least half, if not more, of these kind of people are in real estate. And it's like, you know what? I don't know what they're,
Yeah, I
it
see
makes
your
my
point,
soul feel dirty just being around it. And I just don't, I'm over it. You know what I mean?
but you're still in real estate. You're still doing it. You're still in the same place.
Right.
Sub
But
two
it's
has
very different.
they're a little. There's some. They're not as snotty, I think, in sub two, but I still see the snotty people and still the uppity. Like I'm better than you. And
But see, here's the difference
worry
between the
about
sub two community and working at a real estate brokerage with the uppity persnickety stuff. You
it. Okay.
ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sub two discourages it.
Right.
Real estate brokerages encourages it.
Well, it seems like in the brokerage that your customers, they're your customers, but they're looking down on you. Like, hey, you're my
And there's a
like
lot of butt
you're,
kissing. I never.
you're employee, you're their employee. That's what they treat you like. And it's like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So you have to really, I guess you would have to go in and define that differently and really make your stand like, hey, I am not your employee.
Dude,
You are my
I'm
customer.
telling you, it's a lot of I never liked the office politics atmosphere.
Yeah.
Did not do well because I refused.
No, me too.
Um,
That's why I've always done. I worked
mm,
out in the field and done electrical, but I've always been like in a field where I can go and actually do stuff by myself. I don't need others really. So I've been in.
yeah, I will work with people, but when you talk down to me, you just back the hell up because I'm about to go supernova. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just turn. Well, you talk down to me, you turn me off, and that's it.
Right.
So
That's the entrepreneur spirit. And I feel like humanity as a whole is moving away from that in droves, and that's not working anymore. What's working is coming together and co-creation
true.
and working with each other
Well, we're
versus
supposed to.
for each other.
Right. We're supposed to. I mean, we're I don't think we're I have my philosophies about society and things. I think society is too large in general. We need to be split up into smaller groups. We function better. Humans function better in their smaller
Mhm.
groups, so like family, certain, community, so forth. When it gets
Isn't that what the Indians did?
basically because when it gets too big, we get collectively more stupid. We tend to start doing the dumb shit, and everybody starts following the dumb shit.
All
But
right,
when
this is live. I don't have a beeper. Beep beep for cuss words. Like,
no, it's funny. I've had Justin all them on there, and they let one slip out. Oh, am I allowed to cuss on here? And I'm like, hell yeah, you can cuss all you want.
I
I'm
mean, I
not.
put not for kids, but still.
I don't care if anybody's offended. Hey, they'll get over it or they
Yeah.
won't, and they won't come back, and that's their choice, and that's fine with me,
See, people who know this and see this later are gonna be like, "She's got a problem with cussing? What?"
right? Well, yeah. So
I'm
it's
growing up,
funny
you
'cause
guys. I know it took me a while, but
we all are, because we all are more it's funny because I've become more conscious of I used to cuss really bad. I've become more conscious of it in being in the community. And I've
yeah.
noticed that, hey, like, hey, Pace lets him slip out every once in a while, but I remember him saying he used to just be, he used to cuss like a sailor too. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't really need to do that anymore. I never chilled out around my kid. And I always told him too, it's like, hey, I don't care about cussing. I don't. And in school, I don't care about cussing, but don't get caught.
I just remembered something we need to talk about.
What's that?
You got your first deal since we were on a podcast together last.
Yeah, I sure
Tell
have.
us about
Oh, man.
that. Did you get that on the team that you're on?
No, no, that was my friends in Colorado brought me the deal. They called me
Oh.
up, said, "Hey, we got a buddy of ours there in Houston. He's in Cyprus, and he needs to move." And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" Well, they tell me my buddy in Colorado, he's ex-military. He was military and he contracted to military for jobs too. So
Mhm.
this guy here was also he contracted. He's ex-military and he contracted to the military for many years. So he's like, this guy is. They called me up and said he just needs to move. He needs to get out of the house. He owns it outright. He's tearing it up. He's tearing up the house, putting holes in the wall because he thinks he's being spied on. Thinks there's bugs. Uh, and stuff like that. So they told me, he had been
Got
blown.
some born identity stuff going on there or something.
Yeah, he said he's got PTSD real bad because he was blown up in
Oh,
Afghanistan a couple years ago, or about 5 years ago. So he's bad off. They said so. Okay, I'll go over there and couldn't get him on the phone. He doesn't answer the phone, wouldn't respond to text when they gave
mhm.
me his number. So all right, well I just told my buddy John, call him up or text him, tell him I'm coming over this day. Don't shoot. So, that's how I
Did
went. I just was like, I'm just gonna go show up and talk to him, and that's what I did. Go over there and started talking to him. Told him, "Hey, I'm John's buddy," and he told
he
me
had
about.
guns? You know he had guns?
I didn't know if he had guns at the time. He did have some guns in there, but they didn't have. I don't think he had any ammunition. So
Oh.
yeah, so so I go talk to him, and my buddy John says, "Hey, he's willing to let go of the house though for like 125 because he's tore it up." So, I was like, wow, 125K. And I'm looking at the neighborhood and looking at other houses around it. Like, it's like, well, shit, 280 to 300 is what I'm seeing houses similar going for in the area. So I'm like, well, shit, then this is a deal. This is definitely a deal. It's kind of a no brainer deal. So I'm like, "All right,
Right.
I need to get over there and talk to this guy." So I get over there and talk to him finally, and I was like, "All right, what do you want to move? You want to get out? What do you want to do?" And he wanted to, his original plan was he wanted to go to Thailand. Okay, well, we can help you get moving. And his whole thing too is like, hey, I'll agree to whatever is it, if it goes quick. I said, well, what, John telling me you're okay with 125 in the house. You willing to sign a contract for 125? He's like, oh, no, no, no. Okay, well, what do you want for the house? I want at least 150. Okay, I said we could probably do that. You willing to sign a contract for 150? Yeah,
I would say 130.
yeah.
First you said 125, right? I'd be like
Well,
130.
he was
Get back.
willing to sign the contract, and he's like, the whole thing is quickness. If you can get it to close by next week, he says, I'll, whatever. I said, all right, well, there's a lot of damage on the house, but so I actually got him to sign a contract a couple days later for 140. Got him under contract for 140. And then when I got him under contract, I told the guy Michael that I'm on his team. I call for him. I told Michael about it once I got it under contract. And he said, "Hey, well, no, I told it right before I got under contract. He's like, hey, if you can get under contract, he would buy it. He's looking for a fix and flip. This is perfect for him. I showed him the pictures. He said it's perfect. It's in a good area that he would like to have one in. So, okay, well, great. I already got a buyer. I'm like, badass. So I got a buyer. I'm going to get it under contract. Got under contract 140. Then Michael got some inspectors out there and came up with foundation problems. Okay, so it's going to cost about so much for foundation, and he wants them to come off the price for the foundation. So I go to him, and he's not willing to come off the price, not willing to come off the price. So I get him, hey man, if you want to get moving and doing this, and you have to come off the price, at least 5,000. And then
Right.
I told Michael, if you come off the 5,000, we'll make up the difference and come off the assignment fee. I'll come off the assignment fee so we can make it a deal for Michael. Michael had to be at a certain number, he said.
Was it a VA loan?
No, he was paid off. The house paid off.
Oh,
And
okay.
he owed back taxes and HOA. He hadn't paid taxes in a couple of years.
Oh,
Hadn't paid HOA
okay.
in a couple of years.
Gotcha.
So Mike was like, okay, well, I need this to make the deal work. I need it to be at this. Okay, well, if I come off the assignment, then it'll work. So he agreed to 135, got him under contract 135, sold it to Michael for what he wanted, why he wanted it for, and started making it happen. So once Michael, once we got him to sign closing, we got everything and thing, and we got closing paperwork done, and gave him 2 weeks to get out. Then that's when, uh-oh.
Right. I remember you telling me.
Yeah, so we do the closing, and he's hemming and hawing about all this. Well, and he starts talking about, I want $5,000 back. Let's go back to 140. Well, no, you just signed. You just closed the deal. You just signed and agreed on 135, and because he's only getting, after taxes and HOA, he only walked away with like 108,000. So he starts hemming and hawing. Well, let's go back
I
up
hope he's
to,
still alive.
I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, so he starts hemming and hawing, and I'm like, in his deal, he's got 2 weeks now. Once he signs the paper, you got 2 weeks. Clock is ticking. He's got this RV in the driveway that he wants to, that was owned by George Strait, that he wants to get fixed. That he's been messing with the wiring on, because I'll tell you why he was tearing his house apart here in a minute. It's not PTSD.
Owned by George Strait,
Yeah,
the
it was
RV.
RV was. Yeah, I can show you a picture when
Was it a good one?
Oh, it was a nice one. At one point, it looked pretty nice. Okay, it could have
Yeah,
been
just don't say any names though,
right.
because
So anyway, so he ends up tearing the wiring up. I'm trying to help him fix this. We get a mechanic out there to look at it, and the mechanic is like, "There's no way. You got to get it to a shop that has the schematics, and that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. There's no way you're going to troubleshoot this here in this driveway." So okay, so when I told him that was like 2 days before he has to be out, and he's going to start paying the lease back $100 a day to stay in his own house, or in the house that he used to.
right, right.
So finally, I told him, I was like, "Look, man, I've been helping you trying to get stuff. He hasn't moved anything out of the house, and hasn't let me. He only let me get rid of the car. Had some junk company come pick up the car that was in his driveway. That was a piece that he tore apart. And then the furniture and stuff, I was trying to get people to come pick it up, like just for free. And he was like, yeah. And then finally, a couple days, he was like, okay, get these people over here. And nobody wanted to come pick up any of this shit. So I was like, oh, man.
Mm,
So
mm.
I went over there one day, and this was like he's got 2 days left, or he had one day left, I think it was. This was a Sunday. I had stayed over there all day working on the RV with him. Monday was uh uh Tuesday was the crunch day. It was like the 14th of May. He had to be out. So that I think that was a
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I remember you telling me, because I kept checking in with you, and you were like, "Yeah, the deal's done. I just now the guy won't leave," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, well, Michael got an I should have, I'm a wholesaler. I was done. I should have been out of the deal, but I was helping Mike
Yeah, I wonder how often this kind of stuff happens.
a lot. So
Really?
yeah. So anyway, I go over there Friday, Sunday, stay over there all day, and finally told him, hey, you're gonna have to come to a decision, make a decision about this RV, and
Mhm,
I'll be over here Monday. I'll be over here tomorrow, talk to you, and everything.
mhm,
So went over there
mhm.
Monday, and he's like, doing, back. Let's get to work on the RV, and I'm like, hey man, that's just not it. And he's like, well, we need to talk about that 5,000. We need to go back up to 140. I was like, hey, dude, I got to tell you again. I said, you don't seem to be in touch with reality. The deal is done. You signed the paperwork. There's no renegotiating anything. It's done. Your house is sold. You no longer own this house. You don't seem to understand that. And I said, you have, starting tomorrow, I think, or starting Wednesday, I said, you're going to get charged $100 a day to be here. And he's like, I don't care about
Yeah.
that. Oh, no, 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 no.
Sometimes you just gotta really level with people if
Yeah.
they're
And so I went off
but
on
you
him.
knew something was off,
Yeah.
which is why you had to be straight with him, right?
Yeah. I found out a couple days
'Cause
before.
I know you're a sweet guy. This isn't really how you normally operate.
No, you got to really push me into a corner to get me to,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
start doing like this. So anyway, I found out a couple days earlier that, or I talked to John, and I said, hey, I had mentioned something to John that this guy doesn't seem to be PTSD. He seems to be on meth. I've seen this before, and he seems to be like
Oh,
he's a tweaker, and he's going off the deep end. And John just said, I don't know anything about that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
is that like I don't know what that looks like either, really. I mean
I've seen it. I've seen it. Well, my son's mother, and so
Oh, oh,
I was like,
no.
I was like,
Sorry.
son of a bitch. He's been putting on this act, putting on the show like PTSD and this bullshit, and getting me to feel sorry for him. So I went over there Monday and I had to talk,
Mm.
and he starts going off. Well, we got to renegotiate and then that's when I went off. I was like, look, dude, you don't seem to be in touch with reality. I said, here's the deal. This is the situation. Your house is sold, because he kept saying shit like, oh, I don't want you to worry, but this deal might not go through because he's like, the government's going to stop this deal. I'm like, the deal's already done, dude.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Back up
he's
a second. He said the government's gonna stop this.
yeah. See, the government's watching him. They're out for him. They're out to get him, and they're keeping him in that house to keep an eye on him. That's what he was thinking. So he's like, hey, they're not going to let this deal go through. I don't want you to get screwed, is what he told me. I don't want you to get screwed over, but this deal is not going to end up going through. I just want you to let you know that. And I had to tell him, it's like, look, dude,
It's already gone through.
done. You've already sold your house. You no longer own this thing. There's
Oh,
nothing.
man.
Nobody's coming to save your ass, And then so finally, I said, the last thing I said really got his attention. Is like, look, man, you need to get off the meth. It's not helping you. And he was sitting down when I said it. He jumped up like he wants to fight. So I went and stood right in his face. I'm like, what do you want to do? You've been, fucking feeding me a line of bullshit from the get-go, playing me
Mm.
like a fool, and you want me to do what? I said, "Look, dude, you gotta be out of here." And he's like, "Oh," he starts going, "Is this how you guys do real estate? And you need to
Oh,
leave and all this shit." And I'm like, "That's fine, dude.
that's
You're
so
you're on your
sad.
you're on your own. You're fucking on your own. I'm done. I'm not helping you anymore. I don't know what you're gonna do. See you
That's so
later, dude."
sad.
But the fucking thing was that sent him off. And his buddy that wasn't helping him out finally showed up the next day. They got him out in a day. He was out of there the next day.
After you did that, after
Yes,
you said that.
he got
Wow.
spooked.
So once he knew the jig was up and you knew what was going on.
He got
And
spooked.
look,
Gone.
had you not had the situation that you had with your son's mom, you may not really have known what was going on for
Right.
sure.
Well, part of my history, there's some history there that a lot of people don't know yet. One day I'm going to do a podcast to to tell my whole story. But there's some history. So Yeah, I've been around it. I know what it looks like, and that's what I kept like, man. This doesn't seem like PTSD to me. And then the thing is all your fucking meth heads. Sorry, excuse my French. All meth heads say
Yes, you said the F word. The children, Todd.
sorry. Sorry to all the children. But anyway, meth heads always use PTSD to cover their behavior. PTSD is their
Oh.
excuse. I got PTSD. That's why I act like this. That's why I go off. That's why I lose my cool. That's why I'm freaking out. That's why I'm paranoid. It's
Is
P-
there a little bit of truth to that and they just run with it,
no,
or
they're
is it
not. Man, they don't
really
have PTSD. They are on meth. They're on drugs. It has nothing
uh,
to do with PTSD. It's meth. But
mm.
the thing what PTSD does is similar, or what meth does is cause, yeah, similar reactions like PTSD.
So when you're saying PTSD, are you talking about like
Post traumatic stress disorder. You know how people
right,
freak
but I
out,
mean, is
get
it was he
paranoid.
like in the military
Yeah,
or
he was ex-military, but it's still he might have had PTSD, but this wasn't PTSD. This was meth. He was full
mm,
on meth, tweaking, tearing up his house. And then the thing was, is the what really made me notice it was once he closed, we got him a check the next day. And when he got a check and he was able to get money, he was just holy shit, what's wrong with you? I went over there after he got that money and he got some, he was able to cash the check.
oh, he was like completely in
I
a
was like,
different state.
I was like, holy shit. Now I'm worried. Now I'm really worried. This guy is not going anywhere. That's when I started thinking, oh shit,
Wow.
this guy isn't going to move. This guy is going to be a
All
problem.
right, so instead of this guy, let's focus on the deal itself.
Okay.
Like, so you were able to close on time basically after you got everything all
Yeah,
straightened
we
out.
got him out. He was actually in one day over. He was supposed to. He had to pay $100, for the
Okay.
lease back.
Well, that's good. And then you got everything you were supposed to get, and then your end buyers have their property and
Yeah, well, here now, the story got juicier too. All right, Michael was buying the house from me, right? He was going
uh-huh,
to buy the house from me for 152. I got it under contract for 135. He was going to buy
uh-huh,
it for 152
right.
for his fix and flip. He was going to do a
Mhm.
fix and flip. Well, he ends up selling it. He sold it a couple days after, or actually, it was a week after closing with me. He ended up selling it for 230 without doing anything for 230. So I'm like going, son of a bitch. He told me, and he thought I was gonna be mad. I'm not mad at you. I said I should have held out. I shouldn't have come down on my assignment fee. Should have held out, and we should have held out. Bob was actually right. He should have held out for the $5,000. So, because yeah,
Whoa, but still.
Michael went and made 70, close to 80,000 on that.
But you think
As a
you
flip, he
think
didn't
he wouldn't
wholesale. He did wholesaled it. He didn't flip it. He didn't put it. He paid some inspectors and that's it. But he ended up flipping it to someone else in Subto for 230.
guys, this is a perfect example of networking. Have your buyers ready, have your people lined up, know what you can do and when and where, and boom,
Have your
you
buyers
can
and see.
give your
I know who bought it,
wholesaler 10, 15K and you can make 80.
and see I know who bought it from Michael. They're the ones that put on the private money lending or private money lending mastermind this last weekend. So, and he told me, "Hey, you were the one that sold that to Michael." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, next time bring it to me." I was like,
Boom.
"Okay."
Boom.
Right? That's what I see. The only thing I'm kicking there, it's like I'm glad Michael made the money, but I'm kicking myself in the ass. He's like, man, I could have made
Yeah,
90,000.
you could have, but you know what? This was your first deal.
Right. I made out my assignment
Like,
fee was 17.5, and now I split that 50-50 with the people that brought me the deal. So, because
right.
I told anybody and my friends too, that hey, if you bring me something and it goes to close, I will split my assignment fee with you 50-50. So I keep my word.
Yeah.
But then I just got the
So
check back, got returned mail, and my buddy called me the other day and was like, "Hey man, I haven't gotten that check yet." And I'm like, oh shit, now more for this deal. This deal has been a nightmare. So I was like, oh shit, now he hasn't gotten the check yet, but I just got it in return mail today. So I got to
Oh,
call.
why? Did you have the address wrong or something?
Yeah, he gave me the wrong address. He gave me a 49th Street and it's 49th Place. And I was like,
The
okay,
street and the place was a big deal
yeah, it is. So
because
yeah,
there's 2
they
over
crossed
there.
it out. They crossed it out and sent it back. Said this is not the proper address. And I was like, oh shit. But at least that's a relief because when he called me and said the check isn't there, I was like, oh shit, that was a cashier's check. I can't.
Oh,
Yeah, it's already out of my
dude.
account. Because he was calling, he called me up. He's like, hey, can you see if that check was cashed yet or has been cashed yet? And I'm like,
Why do you ever don't ever put a cashier? This was a reminder. This was a lesson here. This
oh,
was
now,
a
well, you can put it in the mail, but do it as you got to do a certified mail and return receipt request. So they got to sign for it.
I would have just wired it to him.
Well, I didn't do the return receipt. I didn't do a certified mail. I put it in regular mail.
Here's the thing. You didn't even have to do that. You didn't even have to hold the money, send in the check, blah, 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 blah. All you had to do was get the title company to
I could have, but he
disperse
wasn't.
the funds to everybody.
He wasn't in any of the contracts. So yeah, no. Uh,
Oh,
all I'm
okay.
gonna do now. I'm gonna go. I still got the check, so I got the check back, which is a relief. I'm gonna
Mhm,
tell them, hey, I need your right address. Make sure your address is correct, and then I will
mhm,
go and do a certified return receipt. That way, you'll get it, and I'll know you'll have it when it's, I'll get a little card with his signature on it. So
mhm, mhm.
that's the only way. And I told him too, and then from here on out, yeah, it's only going to be wire transfer. I'm not either Zelle or wire transfer. And
So
I'll
what's your plans for your next Subto adventure? You're still working on the team, right?
yeah, I'm still doing the cold calling, and that's been difficult.
Here's the thing about cold calling though.
I'm not
When
really cold
you
calling.
huh?
I shouldn't say cold calling. They're
Okay.
actually setting appointments for me,
You're
but
warm calling?
yeah, they're not motivated, and they're half of them I can't even comp. They're like out in the country. They're like, it's like there's
Oh.
nothing around. It's like, why are they giving? It's like why? And it's like, okay, this is just it's a lot for me to learn, and I got to just stick with it, I guess, for right now. And I'm not
Yeah,
complaining.
so Pace has said recently, as a matter of fact, Pace has said, when you try something new, you have to give it 90 days. I think you've been in there more than 90 days,
I've been
right?
doing that almost a year.
And you still haven't had any
I
deal.
I haven't had one deal from calling. No. So but now I'm door knocking too, though. I told them, hey, if you got any,
Well, I mean, if you've been working on that team for a whole year and still haven't gotten anything,
yeah, I
should
know.
maybe just not a good maybe they're just not a good fit for you.
I don't know. I like working, with Michael and his team. I like them. It just
Mhm,
I got to find a different. Yeah, I think calling isn't my forte, but they work with me. They're really cool because they know my situation, so it's like they don't
mhm.
give me a hard time. It's like, hey, they don't. I keep my own KPIs, but I'm only doing maybe 10 to 15 calls a day, maybe.
Uh,
If I'm
uh,
talking to people, I'm only talking to a maybe five because
but you're doing 15 a day every single day.
about
You should have gotten somewhere by now
yeah.
for a whole year.
I've come close. There's been a few of them that seemed to, but then they just kind of fizzled out. It just wasn't there. So like one was Inviter, and there's like we don't have buyers Inviter, and they wouldn't really come. They got to one point they wouldn't come down any farther in the house, and the house really
Mm,
just wasn't worth it. So couldn't
mm,
couldn't get that one to the finish. And then there's been a couple they just couldn't get. I couldn't get to finish. So
yeah.
we'll see. I'm starting to look for my own leads. I like having the leads. I like doing the calls. It's keeping me busy. It's
Yeah.
keeping it's keeping me
Yeah.
doing it. I can't say I
But I mean, it's like it has to be providing value to you, just like the friends that you have.
it
You know
is.
what I
I'm
mean?
learning. I learn on every conversation, and that's the thing. It's keeping
Okay.
me having conversations, which is what I need to do.
All right.
So
Well,
that's the one thing
yeah,
I
if
just
it feels good and you're doing
it's like
good.
a discipline, it's like I'm looking at it as I'm disciplining myself here. I don't like doing this. I have to do it for now. I'm learning some things. It's not the ideal situation. Maybe it's not the perfect team, but when a better situation comes along and I see it, then I'll
Mhm.
have maybe the skill set to be able to utilize a better opportunity.
Right.
So
Gotcha. Well, if you like it and it feels good and you're learning and you feel like it's where you belong, then
really what I want to get back to doing is I want to get back into the morning daily dials, but my schedule doesn't allow that. And I want to start doing
that's all they're doing right now is the pre-foreclosures. It's
it's
like
all right.
when I first got into Subto, I went to the daily dials every single day,
Mhm.
both of them, every single Monday through Friday for 2 months straight. Besides doing realtor stuff still.
I think some
Um,
have fallen off. I hear a lot of have fallen off. They're
what do
not
you
as
mean?
like the daily dials is like there's not as many people in them.
It depends on which episode. It depends on what morning you get in there.
So yeah.
I scale it by looking at like if there's 100 or more,
Hmm.
then it's one that's really working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I just noticed the time. I have to go pick up my son, and we've gone
I know.
over.
How do we do that? It feels like it's been 15 minutes and it's over an hour.
Well, I was looking at when I was looking at the clock at 15 minutes in, I was like, "Wow, this is kind of going slow." And then yeah, now all of a sudden it's already 5 minutes after an hour. It's like, holy shit! I was like thinking
It's crazy.
this is going to take a while, but
Yeah, we didn't even get to touch on everything either
no,
yet.
we hardly didn't.
Talk
We're having
forever.
too much fun talking about your squat up and stuff like that. So, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you scheduled on mine, and I
Mhm.
want to hear about the squat up and then some of the stories, and so it'll be an interview. It won't be a, a catch up conversation.
I'm trying to get to the one that is how to get a hold of you. Guys, if you want to get a hold of Todd, this is how you reach him on Instagram and on Facebook. If you have any deals that you want to send his way, anybody that you know needs help selling their house.
That's
Um,
you got. to How
yeah,
did you do that? Did you set that up in Streamyard?
yeah,
You guys,
I've had this every single time you've been on. You didn't know that?
no,
Even when you were on the Gen X Files podcast.
I didn't notice that. It comes up at the. You can make that change while doing the recording.
Yeah, like
All right,
it's
you're gonna have
yeah,
to
that wasn't part of the thumbnail. These are different things. And see, look, I got that ticker
right, yeah, I saw that.
across the
So,
bottom.
how do you make that change while you're doing it? Is that in the branding
I
section or
could
what?
tell you, but I have to charge. No, I'm just kidding.
Put it in email, don't put it live on
I'm just kidding. It's StreamYard features, I could
yeah, you
yeah,
got
how do you do your podcast on StreamYard,
yeah,
right?
but I see the branding, I don't see features, I see branding, recording, like, some things along the side, but I don't know where to
Yeah.
I
I
finally
was
figured out how to get another video in there so I could have an intro video. I have an intro video now on my podcast, which
Yes, you do. You
finally
do,
getting with
you
the time.
do.
Yeah. Anyway, but I gotta get because I gotta go pick up
All
my son.
right.
I'm already running late.
So, wait a minute. What happened? I was having I was frozen there for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I'll show you how to do all that. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for
Always
having
a
me.
pleasure. And let's get me on yours.
Yes, it's gonna be towards, probably the 15th or the Saturday. The 15th is a Saturday, and then the next Saturday after that, I'll probably one of those.
Yeah.
I'll
All right.
shoot you
Well,
an email tonight.
all right. Hang back for a short sec after the show, and we'll see you later, guys.
Y'all
Thanks for
take it easy.
stopping by. Bye.